Hi everyone. In previous video we have discussed about the introduction of light and properties. In this video we are going to discuss the reflection of light, definition of reflection of light. We are going to discuss a very important concept. We need to understand what is reflection of light. We need to understand. So here the definition of reflection of light is nothing but the bouncing back of light ray in the same medium after striking to the surface is called reflection of light. Means bouncing back of light ray in the same medium after striking to the surface is called what? Reflection of light. To understand this, we need to take a plane mirror. Let us take, this is a plane mirror. Earlier class we have learned about plane mirror. Previous classes we have discussed about the plane mirror. Let us take, this is a plane mirror. To understand the phenomena of reflection of light, we need to consider the plane mirror, and let us consider a light ray which is incident on the plane mirror. What happened? The incident ray creates a point. That point is called point of incidence. This point is called what? Point of incidence. And this ray is called incident ray. This is a incident ray and it strikes on the surface, and the strike point is called what? Point of incidence. What happened here? When incident ray strikes on the plane mirror, or when incident ray strikes on the surface, it bounces back into same medium. This bounce back light ray is called reflected ray. This ray is called what? Reflected ray. And in between incident ray and reflected ray, we can draw a imaginary line which passes through point of incidence. This imaginary line is called normal. What we call normal. Here incident ray and reflected ray. In between incident ray and reflected ray, we can draw the imaginary line. That imaginary line divides equal angles. Equal angles means this angle and this angle. In between, angle between incident ray and normal is taken as I, and the angle between reflected ray and normal is taken as R. I means angle of incidence and R means angle of reflection. Here, what is reflection of light phenomena? When a light ray incident on the surface, it bounces back after striking in a same medium. The bouncing back of light ray in the same medium after striking the surface. After striking the surface, it bounces back into same medium. This is the same medium. Medium means here if you observe, this is the same plane. So incident ray, reflected ray and normal we have discussed. And what is I? I is nothing but angle of incidence. And what is R? R is nothing but angle of reflection. So here normal is generally indicated with the letter N, capital N. So let us discuss one by one. So here we are going to discuss first of all what is angle of incidence. Angle of incidence is indicated with letter I. Angle of incidence is nothing but the angle between. Angle of incidence is nothing but what? Angle of incidence is nothing but the angle between incident ray and normal. ఇన్సిడెంట్ రేకి నార్మల్కి మధ్యలో ఏదైతే యాంగిల్ ఫామ్ అవుతుందో దాన్ని ఏమంటాం? యాంగిల్ ఆఫ్ ఇన్సిడెన్స్. సో యాంగిల్ బిట్వీన్ ఇన్సిడెంట్ రే and normal is called angle of incidence. And it is indicated with letter I. So angle of incidence, angle I. So next angle of reflection. Angle of reflection is denoted with letter R. So what is angle of reflection? Angle of reflection is nothing but the angle made between reflected ray and normal is called what? Angle of reflection. So angle between reflected ray and normal is called angle of reflection. Angle of reflection is nothing but the angle formed between reflected ray and normal is called what? Angle of reflection. Angle of reflection is denoted with letter what? R. Angle R. We can say angle R. Okay. And if you observe, what is normal? Let us discuss about the normal. Normal indicate with letter what? N. Normal is generally defined as the imaginary line. The imaginary line which drawn between incident ray and incident ray and reflected ray. Is called normal, indicated with letter N. So here we have discussed about the angle of incidence and angle of reflection and as well as normal. So let us discuss the laws of reflection. Laws of reflection we are going to discuss next topic. Laws of reflection. So how many laws of reflections are there? Generally, laws of reflections are generally 2 laws of reflections are there. So how many laws? 2 laws. We need to understand 2 laws. So first law is nothing but the angle of incidence is always equal to angle of reflection. Means angle of incidence is equal to angle of reflection. Angle of incidence is equal to angle of reflection. So laws of reflection is nothing but the rules. How many rules are there? The conditions, how many conditions are there? Generally, how many laws are there? Two laws are there. What is the first law? This is what? This is the first law of reflection. This is the first law, and let us discuss about the second law. Second law is nothing but incident ray and reflected ray and normal are all lies in a same medium. It means what? Incident ray, reflected ray and normal are all lies in a same medium, and angle I equal to angle R is the first law, and this is our second law. This is what? Second law. For understanding these two law, let us discuss once again. We have to discuss the same phenomena. We have to take an incident ray. After striking, it bounces back into same medium, and in between incident ray, this is what? This is incident ray, and this is reflected ray. In between incident ray and reflected ray, we can draw what? The imaginary line. That imaginary line is called what? Normal. So the angle made between incident and normal is called what? Angle of incidence I, and angle between reflected and normal is called what? Angle of reflection. So according to laws of reflection, what is the first law? Angle I must be equal to angle R. Angle of incidence is equal to angle of reflection. It means here angle I, if you take angle I is 30 degree, then angle of reflection is also 30 degrees. For example, it means angle I must be equal to angle R. That is the condition. So this is the first law. Angle of incidence is equal to angle of reflection. అంటే లాస్ ఆఫ్ రిఫ్లెక్షన్స్ అనేవి రెండు లాస్ అనేవి ఉన్నాయి. సో ఫస్ట్ లా అనేది ఏం చెప్తుంది అంటే యాంగిల్ ఐ అనేది యాంగిల్ ఆర్క్ అనేది ఈక్వల్ కావాలి. యాంగిల్ ఐ ఎంతైతే యాంగిల్ ఉంటుందో యాంగిల్ ఆర్కి సమానం కావాలి. సో దట్ ఈస్ ద కండిషన్. యాంగిల్ ఐ ఈజ్ ఈక్వల్ టు యాంగిల్ ఆర్. యాంగిల్ ఎంతైతే ఐ ఉంటుందో యాంగిల్ ఐ ఎంతైతే ఉంటుందో యాంగిల్ ఆర్ కూడా అంతే ఉండాలి. దెన్ ఓన్లీ ఇట్ సాటిస్ఫైస్ ది ఫస్ట్ లా ఆఫ్ రిఫ్లెక్షన్. So next law, what is the second law? What we have discussed? Incident ray, reflected ray and normal. Incident ray, reflected ray and normal are all lies in a same medium or same plane, we can say. This is the second law. So incident ray, reflected ray and normal, ఇవి మూడు కూడా ఒకటే మీడియంలో ఉన్నాయి, ఒకటే ప్లేన్లో ఉన్నాయి, ఒకటే సర్ఫస్లో ఉన్నాయి, ఒకటే సైడ్లో ఉన్నాయి. కాబట్టి దీన్ని సెకండ్ లా ఆఫ్ రిఫ్లెక్షన్ అని చెప్తాము. సో దిస్ ఈస్ ద సెకండ్ లా ఆఫ్ రిఫ్లెక్షన్ వీ కెన్ సే. సో హియర్ వీ నీడ్ టు అండర్స్టాండ్ హౌ మెనీ లాస్ ఆఫ్ రిఫ్లెక్షన్స్ ఆర్ దే? 2 laws of reflection. First law I equal to R, and second law, this is the our second law.